Today I'll be talking about cosine law from Unit 3, Trigonometric Functions. Word problem. Tim went to Mark's home to meet him. It took 3 kilometers for Tim to travel to Mark's place. When Tim arrived there, he got a bad news that Mark had got an accident and was hospitalized. The hospital was 5 kilometers away from Mark's own home. Tim decided to see Mark at the hospital. Mark's home and the hospital makes an angle of 70 degrees. Soon, both the friends were together. Then, Tim had to leave the hospital for his home. However, he didn't know how far his home was from the hospital. Tim's home, the hospital, and Mark's home were apart from one another, which made a triangle. Determine the length from the hospital to Tim's home. Sine law versus cosine law. In sine law, 2 angles and one side is given, and it has a pair. That is, one angle and one side opposite one another. In cosine law, 2 sides and one angle has given. Building the diagram. So since we know that the hospital and Mark's home make an angle of 70 degrees, so we have drawn that 70 degrees here. And we have labeled the top as hospital, the right as Mark's home, and the left as Tim's home. Over here on the second diagram, we have labeled hospital as B and the side length opposite from hospital as lowercase b. On the right-hand side, for Mark's home, we have labeled it as capital A, and opposite from that, we have labeled the side length that is lowercase a. And on the left side, we have labeled Tim's home as capital C, and opposite from that, we have labeled a lowercase c. So we know that from Tim's home to Mark's home, it takes 3 kilometers for Tim to get to Mark's home. And it takes 5 kilometers from Mark's home to get to the hospital. And we need to find the length of how far is the hospital to get to Tim's home. There are 3 formulas to solve for a side length. And the one that we need is the first one, since we need to find side A. To find the side A, the formula is lowercase a squared equals lowercase b squared plus lowercase c squared minus 2bc cos A. Working out the problem. So to find the side A, that is from the hospital to Tim's home, we have to use the formula a squared equals b squared plus c squared equals 2bc cos A. So to figure out the side length, the next step would be a squared equals b squared. So to see b, that would be 3 kilometers. So we would write 3 in brackets and then squared, plus c would be 5 kilometers, so that would be 5 in the brackets squared, minus 2, b would be 3, and c would be 5, cos 70. 70 is the angle. The next step would be a squared equals 9. 3 times 3, 3 squared is 9, plus 5 squared is 25. And minus 2, 3 times 5 cos 70 is minus 10.260604. The next step to find the side length would be a squared equals 23.739396. We got this number from the previous step. The next step would be a squared equals square root 23.739396. After getting the square root, we would get 4.8723091. And we would round that number off, and therefore we would get as A equals 4.9 kilometers. So now we know that the distance between hospital and Tim's home is 4.9 kilometers. The final answer. The length that it takes for Tim to travel from the hospital to his home is 4.9 kilometers. Thank you.